Elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. Of Ukraine. Correct. Anyway.
Banks and insurance companies are pulling out of coastal areas and things like that, or areas where there are a lot of fires. So what that is going to mean is that if you fast forward 10 or 15 years, there are going to be regions of the country where you can't get a mortgage, there won't be ATMs, the banks won't have branches and things like that.
Let's just chew on that for a second. That is the head of America's central bank, not only observing that insurance is becoming increasingly difficult to get in states like California, but about a decade from now, because you can't get insurance, you won't be able to get a mortgage in parts of places like California. That's a simply...
And here we have the mayor of Los Angeles, whose job is to tackle these issues to protect her citizens, but instead she sounds more like a damn ACLU lawyer than an actual public official. In 2024, Democrats were pretending as if, oh, we're going to be tough on crime now, but now here's the massive reality check as a slap in the frickin' face. They're not even pretending to be tough on crime anymore. No, to these radical Democrats, the crime isn't the problem. The machete attacks, the fentanyl epidemic, the drug epidemic in general, the gang and cartel crisis, all of it. That's not the problem. No, the cops are the problem. The system's the problem. Donald Trump's the problem. And that's the left-wing ideological playbook now, isn't it? Pretend the issue is racism and not the border. Blame absolutely everything on Donald Trump, deflect, but when you actually press them, when you ask them the most basic common sense question, like violent criminals who shouldn't be here in the first place be removed, they can't commit to it. They're paralyzed by their own ideology, paralyzed by fear of offending their base, paralyzed by this twisted obsession with equity over justice. And Karen Bass, she is the perfect example of this ideological failure. And just think about that. The left will always tell you, oh, it's just the fringe. But this isn't a fringe case. She is a high-ranking Democrat mayor in one of the biggest cities in the country. At one point, she was even floated as a potential VP pick, and she can't even say that criminal aliens should be deported. My friends, these people don't even care anymore. They prioritize political narratives over public safety. It's a complete violation of their oath too often.
There's one other element I've been thinking about here, and that is the old Confederacy and nullification. That's what you're seeing in the war against ICE. That's what you're seeing in Los Angeles with the mayor, in California with the governor. That's what you're seeing throughout the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party is the house in which Marxism, Islamism, and nullification reside. They have abandoned Americanism. They can talk about the Constitution all they want. They've abandoned the Constitution. They've abandoned the idea of Republican, small r Republican government, representative government. They want centralized, all-powerful government. They want one-party rule. It's hilarious. You got a guy running for mayor.
America with homicide. St. Louis is #1 right now. Okay, from St. Louis.
Okay.
St. Louis. Yeah. Last they had a Republican mayor, 1949.
Damn.
Baltimore, 1967. They're second. New Orleans is 3. You know what? New Orleans had a Republican mayor. You will not get this one right.
New Orleans?
New Orleans. When's the last Republican mayor?
1858.
1872.
Oh my God.
The last time New Orleans had a... Can you verify this, Rob? When's the last time?
A civil war down there.
New Orleans,
Louisiana.
1872. Detroit, 1962. Cleveland, 1989. Memphis, 1967. Vegas, 1975. Kansas City, 1991. Newark, Jersey, 1953. Chicago, 1931. These cities haven't had a Republican mayor between 34 years to 153 years.
Oh my God.
And they're wondering why they're... Look at this. All mayors of New Orleans since 1872 have been Democrats.
Wow.
All mayors since 1872. So guess what? Either change the policies because bad policies destroy, or change the city you raise your kids in.
And what's
the mayor, the governor, the Democrats are stopping ICE from arresting the criminals that they're going for. And there are 600,000 of them in the country. And the Democrats are housing them. And what they're doing is they're releasing them back into the neighborhoods. And then they're sending ICE into the neighborhoods. So the Democrats can stop this by just letting ICE arrest the criminals in jail. That's why you don't see this happening everywhere. So if you're wondering why they are doing it, they have no policies. Everything they do is a fucking scam. These people are criminals. There is absolutely nothing at all that they do except attack and destroy. Right now, they're passed another bill in the Palisades so that they could land grab and steal all of those people's houses. They've also passed SB 9 and SB 10 so that they can destroy single family homes. These people are fucking terrorists, okay? I'm a real estate broker, John Kramer, California real estate broker for 21 years. And I have to call out the tyranny that is in this state. These sanctuary criminal cities are destroying everything. And then, in case everybody forgot, in about 10 years, we're not going to be able to get any mortgages here. So that's why I give a shit on top of it all. Because of the fact that we're going to have no wealth here because these fucking people are going to destroy it. Arrest them. They are fucking
not competitive. Our tax rates are not competitive, period.
I know.
Yeah, just a fact. Just a fact.
These patient house in New Hampshire, I could have figured
We have the episode.
here there. Yeah, cool.
What?
The Democrats seem confused as to why they lost this election. They want to think it has something to do with misogyny or racism. Well, let me clear it up for those still bewildered Democrats. You lost because you tried to tell the American people that the economy was great when they couldn't afford to buy groceries. You lost because you ran a moron in place of a president you knew was a corpse attached to a car battery. You lost because you lied about January 6th, calling it worse than Pearl Harbor or 9/11. You lost because men can't have babies, women don't have and free speech isn't a privilege like a driver's license. It's a God-given right guaranteed by our Constitution. You lost because you fired doctors, nurses, scientists, and frontline workers for refusing to take an experimental gene therapy because my body, my choice only counts if it's about abortion.
Holy